Ready, kids?
Aye, Captain!
I can't bear you! Oh!
Ahoy there, mateys. It's time to set sail on another episode of Unconstitutional Awakening, the podcast. I'm your captain, Jim Bob Ovalshorts. And guys, I just want to welcome everyone back to the show, man. I know we've been on a little bit of a hiatus, and it's been quite some time since you guys have probably got to hear your favorite pirate captain and his nonsense. But, totally legit reasons, guys. The computer crashed. I lost episodes. I've been having to go through this whole ordeal and had a complete custom computer created for me, along with finding all those files that we lost so that we could bring you episodes like this one here tonight. Of course, this episode was recorded back in April, so I do apologize if it seems a little dated, and over the next few weeks or so, a lot of the episodes will seem a little dated because we totally kept recording the entire time. I just did not have the ability to upload everything. But on tonight's episode, we've got a pretty full crew to invite our good friend TessTamona back over. Tess is an amazing person doing great work between waking people up and spreading her awake type music that she makes out there and stuff. And, this is a really good conversation. And I am so glad we were able to save it because I was terrified you guys would not be able to enjoy this, man. So, again, I'd like to apologize for the hiatus and, things will get rolling back pretty regular here shortly, but it's been a thing. So I thank you all for being extremely patient and waiting for us. And I'm ready to get these things kicked off again. So it's been a time, man. But again, I do thank you all. I thank you all so much for your continued support, for all the messages we've received asking where the show's been, and so much more, man. So things are going, and they're going to continue to go. So I do want to let you guys know we have a couple new hosts that you'll be seeing here in the near future on a few episodes. They've been past guests and whatnot. So, there's some good folks. It's Steven and a fella named Jesse out of Canada. And, it's just expanding the crew and bringing in more perspectives. You can check out some of Steven's stuff when he's been on episodes with us in the past, like with Dr. Malone and, a few other people. And he's even been on himself. And then as far as Jesse, if you'd like to get some insight on him, you can go on over to our website and check out the news articles, as he's been totally being a writer for us as of recent. But, you can find all of that good stuff and more over at everyone's favorite website, unconstitutionalawakening.com, your home for everything us, man. We've got all kinds of good things where you can find news, podcasts, and more. We've even got a social area, man. You can get over there and check out your favorite hosts and find ways to get back and find them on social media and everywhere else you'd like to find them. There's links on here to watch us if all you do is listen, and listen if all you do is watch us. You can even listen right there on the website, guys. I like to have this stuff hooked up for everybody. So, and there's all kinds of good things over there, man. And, y'all just hop on over there and check it all out. There's also our merch store, which we've upgraded here recently and has a lot of cool stuff in there you guys should go check out. Always coming up with new designs. So figured I'd spread some more of that out there. And while you're also there, you can check out our awesome friends in Liberty, Kirk Elliott, PhD, Peachy Key Creations, Ammo Can Survival, Brett Pike with Classical Learner and Homeschools Connected, and Pure Pet Wellness. All these folks are great people doing amazing things in the world of liberty to bring change to this world without having to use all the same corporate nonsense that's usually going on. So you guys make sure you get on over there and check out all that and check out all our amazing sponsors and such, man. And let's just keep things going. So I reckon I'm gonna shut my mouth now so that we can just go on ahead and weigh anchor and get into this guy. So let's go, y'all. Ahoy there, Tess. How have you been since the last time you've been aboard?
Man, I've been good. How are you? It's good to be back.
Great, great. Thank you. No, I see you're always busy out there with all kinds of things, including your music and stuff. And I was just like, I gotta have you back on. Plus, I've been in there talking to you about our whole, cookbook idea that everybody's well aware of now because Bandit blew the lid on me the other week. So
Yeah, I thought that was so cool that you were doing that. So people can enjoy my super basic but awesome pancake recipe. So thank you for that.
I'll just send you some screenshots. I actually think I got your page done. I'm still in draft series, but it's getting there one piece at a time. I bit off more than I can chew, but I like things like that because it just, I don't know, it flourishes, I think. So it's taken a little more time than I planned on, but I think it'll be better for that aspect. So
Plus,
Likely,
how
I do
many
the same thing.
podcasters
So
have released a cookbook?
I can't think of
Valid.
anything. Yeah, so
Me neither.
It's a good route to go by. Like I was telling you when we were messaging about it. Uh, I think food is a great way to bring people together, and that what other way to do it than to share recipes with people. So and that's just the way it rolls. But man, we got some familiar faces in here, as I was saying in the opening there, that we haven't seen in a while, and I'm so excited that you guys are here, Kell and Neptune. Kell, how you been, brother? I know you've been in a while since you've been absent.
Oh yes, sir. I mean, being a twin, I already know. Even though you don't hear from me, I'm sand dragon, standing firm like a cork in the water. Can't be capsized, be pushed down, but I'm gonna rise back again. Thanks for asking.
Man, I know you've always got some stuff going on YouTube. I'm gonna help keep your section up over there on the website for you, so people can make sure they can get back over to your YouTube because you're always posting some good, wise stuff, man. And I think people need
Oh
to
man,
pay attention to it.
I'm
I
out your
appreciate
work
that
too,
stuff.
bro. I'm out your work too, and I want to learn from you how you condense a point being made into a short time slot. Because sometimes the like more impact than a long, drawn out, elaborate expoundation on something that you're trying to. Some how you do your videos is unique, and I like that. I like
Well,
that.
thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll figure something out for you there, boss, man. You know that. Neptune,
Yes, sir. Yes,
I know
sir.
you've been dragging through the trenches there, man. That's why you ain't been here. How you doing, buddy?
You can try to sink me, but my ass floats.
That's right, though.
Oh well,
Yes, sir.
I'm glad you could join us in Bandit. I'm glad you're here with me tonight, man. You doing okay over there? Oh no, did he freeze? Did he not hear me?
I think I saw him blink.
Okay.
I'm
And
good.
before
I
we
just
go, Jay, I want Bandit to
for
tell me
one
how he
second,
want me
and
to
everybody's
process.
settling down in the house right now.
Okay.
I
Bandit, before the show, I wanted to update me the project that you were doing in the yard with the sustainable living stuff. I want to update on it.
What's up, Kel?
I want to update on your project that you were doing on your property, sustainable living stuff. I
your
mean, you
urban
was
your
I've
doing.
urban
got,
farmer.
oh man, hey, I am in the process of uploading some pictures right now, but I have so many to update that it's taking a little bit. It's taking a
Okay,
little
cool.
bit.
I know that.
So, we were when earlier I was talking to you, Tess, I had sent you a message. We they had Luis had sent something and he's not quite here yet, but that's just it. Sometimes they jump in late around here and that's all right. But he had sent me this video earlier that was it was from like a testimony where this lady was talking about her trials in MK Ultra and stuff. And this made me think of you because I know you're always kind of talking about that kind of stuff. And like she was in like a trial scene, and I'd share the video, but it's super long, and I'll definitely share it with the episode. But it she's basically sitting here talking about all the things that she was put through and stuff like that. And I know I know you as well as I do would be the kind of person that would I know when it comes to MK Ultra stuff, it seems like it's coming even more so recently. Like I feel like they're triggering all kinds of MK Ultra type people in here in the recent months, and I've found that kind of interesting that we've got all these similar people that have been set off on a constant basis.
Oh, set off. You mean like actually like going full unhinged like that?
Sure, sure. I mean, and I think
Yeah.
in a lot of aspects, like I look at MK Ultra when I see a lot of this stuff because of all the similarities, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that is a really good. I mean, I'm like, damn, I wish I was seeing the video. I'll check it after the episode if you can send it.
I'll gladly play part of it. There's about if you guys are down, there's about a 6 minute clip of it that I've trimmed out of it actually already, because I was going to attempt to play it if you guys were down for it. Um, Let me see here.
I'm down.
Yeah, you guys are all down. Cool. So it was shown originally on the NPC show, and I'll, I'm gonna try to shut up because I seem to echo when I screen share, but it's over here on Twitter on the NPC show, and the first 6 minutes of it are, I mean, just whoa.
And you know what, brother? What I realized, JB, that it's not just a singular experience of one person being CIA, spinning the chair, experimenting on. They're also doing it on us too. The wild populace in the movie. Like, I thought what colors is it? Orange and blue, however they use to trigger certain parts of your brain. So they always experiment on how to make us more docile and governable. So it does apply. We are awoke, but even in our woke state, we still dealing with the machinery of the matrix, right? And every day we cleanse our body from hygiene. The outside, we got to cleanse our soul because they're trying to stick stuff on us. And 5 years from now, if we're not careful, if we don't uproot certain things that was planted in our garden, it will grow.
Check this out. Tell me what you think.
I'm Christy Nicola, born July of 1962, rendering me 32 years of age. I was a subject in radiation as well as mind control and drug experiments performed by a man I knew as Dr. Green. My parents were divorced around 1966, and Donald Richard Ebner, my natural father, was involved with Dr. Green in the experiments. I was a subject from 1966 to 1976. Dr. Green performed radiation experiments on me in 1970, focusing on my neck, throat, and chest, 1972 focusing on my chest and my uterus in 1975. Each time I became dizzy, nauseous, and threw up. All these experiments were performed on me in conjunction with mind control techniques and drugs in Tucson, Arizona. Dr. Green was using me mostly as a mind control subject from 1966 to 1973. His objective was to gain control of my mind and train me to be a spy assassin. The first significant memory took place at Kansas City University in 1966. Don Ebner took me there by plane when my mom was out of town. I was in what looked like a laboratory, and there seemed to be other children. I was strapped down, naked, spread eagle, on a table, on my back. Dr. Green had electrodes on my body, including my head. He used what looked like an overhead projector and repeatedly said he was burning different images into my brain while a red light flashed aimed at my forehead. In between each sequence, he used electric shock on my body and told me to go deeper and deeper, while repeating each image would go deeper into my brain, and I would do whatever he told me to do. I felt drugged because he had given me a shot before he started the procedure. When it was over, he gave me another shot. The next thing I remember, I was with my grandparents again in Tucson, Arizona. I was 4 years old. You can see from this experiment that Dr. Green used trauma, drugs, post-hypnotic suggestion, and more trauma in an effort to gain total control of my mind. He used me in radiation experiments both for the purposes of determining the effects of radiation on various parts of my body and to terrorize me as an additional trauma in the mind control experiments. The rest of the experiments took place in Tucson, Arizona, out in the desert. I was taught how to pick locks, be secretive, use my photographic memory, and a technique to withhold information by repeating numbers to myself. Dr. Green moved on to wanting me to kill dolls that look like real children. I stabbed a doll with a spear once after being severely traumatized, but the next time I refused. He used many pain induction techniques, but as I got older, I resisted more and more. He often tied me down in a cage, which was near his office. Between 1972 and 1976, he and his assistants were sometimes careless and left the cage unlocked. Whenever physically possible, I snuck into his office and found files with reports and memos addressed to CIA and military personnel. Included in these files were project, subproject, subject, and experiment names with some code numbers for radiation and mind control experiments, which I have submitted in your written documentation. I was caught twice, and Dr. Green ruthlessly used electric shock, drugs, spun me on a table, put shots in my stomach, in my back, dislocated my joints, and hypnotic techniques to make me feel crazy and suicidal. Because of my rebellion and growing lack of cooperation, they gave up on me as a spy assassin. Consequently, the last 2 years, 1974 to 1976, Dr. Green used various mind control techniques to reverse the spy assassin messages to self-destruct and death messages. His purpose? He wanted me dead, and I struggled to stay alive all of my adult life. I believe it is by the grace of God that I am still alive.
So she goes on to, talk about experiment. Like, this is like a 13-minute long video. And she goes on to talk about like some of the other things that he was doing to her and just things in random and stuff like that. And like, this doesn't seem too far-fetched to me. Like, when it comes down to dealing with like MK Ultra stuff, like it's not.
No, it doesn't. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't know you were.
You go ahead. Hi, Luis.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello. What I was just gonna say is that listening to her, because the MK Ultra topic, and we see it applied in very many layers or different people in society, but when it comes to kids like that, or young people, that will, I don't know if like I had shared this with you before. I did podcast about it, but it got removed from YouTube, but it's everywhere else is still up. But when I was young, I just have personal experience with that. And that sounds like, I wasn't told I was being made an assassin. When we would ask, like, if we would ask why things were happening, they just would tell us, we're doing this to break you because you need to be broken so you can be built better. And we're going to do that. But I was put in a facility for, I guess you could say, quote unquote, bad kids when I was a teenager, and it got shut down. Joe Rogan actually has a podcast episode about that facility, but it was really creepy. And like, when I started learning about that type of stuff, it like, there's kind of like a weird, my hair stands on end when I hear about that stuff now, because I'm like, holy shit, like that's what, so 100%, like that's what was going on at the facility I was at. I know a lot of other people that experienced that when they were young as well. And then of course we see the more high profile examples, like Anna Nicole Smith, or, you know, maybe Britney Spears, or like even Bill Clinton in some footage I've seen from Freeman Fly. So it's definitely a very layered situation, but I don't doubt any of that at all.
I've always been, you know, on board with that being like a legitimate thing that has legitimate repercussions, or there wouldn't be all sorts of classified documents about the
you
subject.
failed to mention one of the greater MK Ultra victims on Twitter. His name is David Hogg.
I mean, yeah. But see, like I look at this MK Ultra stuff, and it gets into a conversation we were kind of having in our group chat that was going to totally roll over into over here anyway. I knew it was going to, and that's people that are in some sort of power, whether it be like my crazy Jim Carrey conspiracy, or, you know, even further than that, like that Mr. Beast fellow. Like, something about him rubs me the wrong way. Like, I know he seems like just this awesome, most prolific guy there is in the world, but if you really break it down and look at it, like on a serious level, really break him down and look at him, he fits the criteria to a T. And again, by no means am I really a religious person, but he fits the criteria to a T of what the Christian aspect would consider an antichrist, because of all of the positive things he's actually doing. And I don't know, there's just something about the guy. Like, I don't think he's a bad guy. There's just something about him that he gives me those same creepy MK Ultra vibes, like watching this young lady talk about this, that I get like listening to him talk. Like, he's
Look up a video of him counting to 100,000.
What?
Mr. Beast.
yeah.
Look up him
Okay.
counting to 100,000.
That's weird.
Yeah. So that's part of the reason he got popular. He just counted to 100,000, which you can find it slightly for sure. It's on YouTube. He legit counted to 100,000. I found him years ago when he really was starting, and I followed it, and yeah, it's a mixed bag, right? Because the theologically speaking, the devil is somebody that is charismatic, loved, and a giving, amazing human being. But on the other side is the supposed idea that there is nefarious means behind the mask.
I'm
not saying he is. I'm not saying he actually.
And see, I'm not trying to say that he is either. He does have some interesting. He does have some interesting ties, like that thing you sent me earlier. Like,
what I find strange is that I also saw that kid years ago. I've seen him progress and change, and I found it super strange, which I find it maybe he is being experimented on to a given degree by other people, and it potentially was a bet. Remember, ultra rich people make really, really crazy bets, and probably people associated with them were like, you know what, I can turn that guy. Watch me. And then like 6 months later, it's like, ha, I did it. Remember, ultra rich people, they have to put challenges that are so absurd, but then nobody can notice.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's the other part. Yet he had a family.
yeah,
Whoa.
like,
Which I'm like, I hope that family can adapt to their changes. And look, he's a grown adult. He can do whatever they need.
Absolutely.
That's how they need people. And maybe that's who they were from the very beginning, and they were lying to themselves. We don't know. We're not in their shoes.
Sure.
That's a grown adult. They can do whatever they want. But
like, just the Mr. Beast aspect.
grown adult.
This is another one of those weird things. Like, I see these weird things pop up from time to time, like in reels or YouTube shorts and stuff, since I can't really enjoy TikTok on the go like other people can. And it's people talking to Mr. Beast in like podcast form or in interview form and stuff like that, and he just gives off this just eerie vibe. Like, he seems so nice, but at the same time that I'm sitting there watching him, I'm just like, who is this
That's
guy?
why I
You know
said
what I mean?
watch the Lex Friedman interview. You can see like the real version of him.
Yeah.
He's super calculated. I think there was one part in the interview he regretted he said because
I know
you sounded like who he was.
When you look at it from a theological standpoint, I mean, a lot of these people do in fact sell their very souls to whatever evil power is in existence for some type of fame and fortune. They do. And he probably is one of those that just has to do the bidding of, whoever's in control of his fame and fortune, And it just so happens it's like, hey, guess what? You got to transition now.
He had already an offer for over $1 billion.
Is it?
Channel.
Is
and
it?
He flat out said no, but he already had an offer for more than $1 billion for his channels. So on paper, he is a billionaire.
Yeah, I mean that's I don't
27 years old, I think.
Wow.
And it's strange that we're in a society where like when we hear about someone got that kind of that we appraise these people, but really shouldn't no one person be able to accumulate that much money and it's homeless people? It's things that like Jock Fresco with the Venus Project, sustainable living. He built the design. He went to Venus, Florida, actually erected the system to prove that it could be done. And if I invent something that helps humanity, I shouldn't be able to put a monopoly on it. It shouldn't even be mine because I didn't own or create the idea. I received the idea. And I think that's the problem I have with the system. Like, we got to stop giving these clowns our trust, thinking that they're going to do the right thing, because clearly what I'm seeing is that it's a governing body of people who are against humanity. The educational system is rigged, dumb us down. Medical systems rigged to treat, not cure. Everything is against humanity, and the ones that's really getting their desires and living high on the hog are the ones that's selling out humanity. Whether the reptilians behind the agenda, it doesn't matter. There are people that are not reptilian that includes with them.
Would it be out of line? Would it be out of line? Okay, and Tess, you can, if this is out of pocket, you're more than welcome to tell me it's out of pocket. But would it be out of line to say that somewhere at the top of the food chain, like the person in charge calling the shots, is a woman, because only a woman would want the fall of mankind?
I mean, I think people can say whatever they want. I don't really follow that logic just standing on its own, but okay. I'm interested. I mean, I kind of see it as like a group of people, but I mean, nobody really fucking knows for sure. But it just seems a little weird. Like, why would a woman, just on the basis of being a woman, want to see the fall of humanity?
So
I think people in power that far up, I don't think sex really matters, male or female, because they probably don't conform to either. You know what I mean?
Well, all right. So I've had, because I hang out with Josh and them over there on the Red Pill Project, I had some of the folks that are over there add me to some groups over there, and they add me to this one group that was called the Female Illuminati, and I've been following it for some time now, and it's super interesting because it puts a bunch of women at the top of the like the group chain that have like this idea that in the end that they could have a woman based utopia at the end of like their idea moving forward or something. Like, I know this is super wild. I'll totally share some links with you, because like I've found it interesting myself, and like it's not like I'm going after anybody in this, and that's why I said if I seem out of pocket, let me know. It's just it's a theory that I've seen recently, and it's quite interesting to see that would be a weird place to take it, with all the ideas of artificial inseminating people, and they're not being masculine men and stuff in general, and whatnot. It's just I don't know. It has some legs.
My friends found that people that are in vitro children at later ages are showing more severe than usual medical complications. So she said there potentially is a direct correlation between inferior health because you're in vitro. I don't know. It was that correlation she noticed as a physician. So that's just obviously anecdotal, but interesting to hear.
I wouldn't doubt that. Oh, go ahead, Kel.
No, go ahead, Tess. I just said I don't. We can't doubt inside. We gotta scrutinize everything from all angles. Go ahead, Tess.
Yeah, no, that's all I was kind of saying too. Is like I wouldn't doubt it, and as far as like the anti-human agenda mixed in with 100% an agenda to like energetically castrate, chemically castrate, whatever men. I also see it happening to women. It just looks different, but that's plain as day. And like I've spoken at length about that like a lot because it's very disturbing to me. So I could see how people could put those correlations together just by observing. But as far as like actual proof of like, we think that the people at the top of, like secret societies or whatever it's all women. That's the first time I've heard it. So like I would look at the links for sure. Like I wouldn't off top be like, no, but I also wouldn't off top say yes either. Like I don't fucking know, but I do think that what Bandit said about as far as like, I think it was Bandit, as far as being so high at the top, to where like that kind of shit. I mean, I don't even know what kind of fucking people those are, honestly. But
I mean, isn't that the best?
There was a TikTok video circling around a while ago that really caught my attention, and I had sent it to Jimmy. It was and it just makes the most sense to me. Like, you really think of people in power, you think of everybody that is, the NPCs think that the government is power, that billionaires are power, that rich celebrities, sports figures, that's power. But the people that, have gone down that rabbit hole, or many rabbit holes, know that there are it's almost, you got to refer to them as beings. They're not really people.
Mm-hmm. Right.
There was it was a video that circulated that caught my attention. It was a long forgotten race of kings that were, I can't even describe it. But it really caught my attention. It was a long lost race of kings that have been in power for just thousands of years.
And keep in mind, it could tie into the Vikings because VI is like 6, so Viking actually could be something solid for the 6 kings, because the Vikings, they did rule with a strong, and they were very powerful. Now, these people don't have power, because if they had power, they wouldn't spend so much millions of dollars each year on marketing to get. We are the power. They're tricking us out our power to give it small group of people that want to keep the imbalance of the masculine and feminine people. And each and every one of us on this panel has a masculine side and a feminine side. Mm-hmm. Now, women externally is our feminine side, and the war is against the divine feminine. Because all the ancient civilizations, when they looked at the woman equality, that civilization flourished. Only this dynasty that we up under now has to demote the woman, because she is the portal that ushers souls into this dimension. So when the Bible say that it's not right for a woman to stand up in church and speak, why not? When she gave birth to everything in there that made the building and the truth and everything, why can't she still be the first one to speak? And men are warlike, and we will go to war quicker. Never in a family structure have you seen a woman that's, well, it is some out there, but predominantly the women are the glue that keeps the family together, the peacemaker. When us men lose our cool, if it'll do something stupid, she'll be the one to be our intuition, and so I'm not saying that JB is not that, because clearly I believe it's a paradox of truth that you are right and wrong at the same time, because clearly Kamala Harris and all the other women that's in political seats that's trying to prove to men they could be just as well more important in the system, when a man can never compare to a woman. A woman brings life. So her trying to prove to us men that she could be, that poster in the 670s with the woman holding up her arm, showing her muscle with the bandana on and showing she's strong. And that's where the problem is. And they have tricked women into believing you have to be more masculine. And now got more men being more feminine. It's an imbalance. And that's how they stay in control. That's how they stay in control.
Actually,
JB,
there's a big point to that is Mao. Mao, in the time of China and the Cultural Revolution, actually did that very same tactic. There's an American politician. She was recently speaking. I got to find that interview. You got to listen to it. It's really great. She goes over how all of these things happening in the United States are a result of Mao's ideas. Mao figured out that you control the youth by distorting the masculine and feminine and inverting it by that option. Then you make it so you can control their mind, and you're making it so the women become your battle cry, and you can't attack the women.
Right.
But the women are the ones that are going to fight. So it's like the perfect tactic.
Parent is not going to give you control to their child's mind. So how do they get that parent to give up that control? They set up an educational institute and a factory to make money, to go make money. So why you doing provide? God didn't send us here to slave for no money. Money is an agreement between people that is a instrument of exchange. The true currency is your vitality that is within you. Your current, your blood cells running through the current cell of your, and we don't check money. Money attracts to us. So they already got our perception warped. And really we give in to it by not knowing who we are as humanity. These people don't have a right to do what the fuck they doing, bro. We don't know no better. You hear me? We don't know no better as a collective planet of people. That at the end of the day, the only right thing is what is right. It ain't got nothing to do with color, political stance, about what's right. It's groups of us like Unconstitutional Awakening, TessTamona. It's pockets of us out there that's like the resistance. And it shouldn't be nothing that we doing so spectacular, because it should be common knowledge for everybody. Want everybody to be treated fairly, And a group of people shouldn't be above the law, and they get all tax breaks because they critique the legalese language and the networking with a powerful system of assholes that is very soulless. They don't give a damn about kids' rights, but then here it is, the CDC and everybody else will make it seem like it's all about the safety. We need to dismantle, put under a microscope every institution that is on the face of the land right now. Just like a state trooper pull you over, make sure you got your license. We need to pull these companies over and make sure you really are humanity and stop playing the game.
Absolutely. And I just know I bring this up because I hesitated on diving down this rabbit hole, and it's been sent to me on numerous times. It's got a dude that does a lot of work with Josh over there, and then it's also got, I can't ever say his name right, but I'm sharing you guys some links in here. It's stuff I'll share with it because it's a lot to dig through. But Michael Sarion or whatever is the guy who shares a lot of this stuff. I shared some of the links in this group chat so that you guys can dig into this stuff too. But it's an interesting perspective, and it has some interesting ties. And I guess I'm always looking for another place, because I a lot of times, a lot of the just, you can't settle for an answer, I guess, when you have more information laid down in front of you. And that I like to keep moving forward at all times with different kinds of theories and stuff. I think that's the only way we make any progress, I think, in a way, is looking for different areas to tie this stuff together, because there's so much weird stuff. Like there's a lot more people nowadays finally looking at like the vibrations or ether or whatever, or however you want to call it, and like that's something I've always been super interested in, and I'm so glad that more people are looking into that subject nowadays because they're seeing that more things are, you know, connected on a vibrational level, you know, and it's not just crazy conspiracy nonsense, you know. That's the only way we Luis says it best. The only way we look at this stuff better is by re-looking at a lot of these fringy, untouchable subjects, I guess you call them, in a sense.
Yeah. See, I take it personal, Jay, because I got my oldest daughter is 34. She's full blown autistic. My 7-year-old son, he got autism. And through the research, I found out that the vaccines, the mercury content and aluminum in vaccines, which in 1987 they increased it, so now the kids get more shots. And CDC knows that mercury, aluminum, the vaccines gives colored kids autism at a rate more than any other ethnicity. So it's a form of genocide, just like Planned Parenthood, Planned Parenthood, Martin and all, and the judicial system where they will give a colored person more time. Than it's an unjust whole system, and then play the people against each other. So now the blacks mad at whites and we all being played. And it's not fair that they know exactly the damage being done to kids, bro. Not just my kid. I'm not the only parent that got an autistic child. You hear me? And they know what's going. Look at the cancer causing stuff they have in our everyday drinking water. How is it benefiting us to have an amount of content of chemicals that causes cancer in human beings? Okay, make it make sense to me, because am I missing something?
You mean the fluoride? Among all the other crap that's in
right? Forever chemicals. I know Neptune.
Not
I know. I mean, it's not just the fluoride. Like fluoride's one of many. I know Neptune will jump in on this because Neptune has strong feelings about forever chemicals and microplastics inside of all of our water.
Okay, come on.
Yeah, I do. And every single time that I talk to somebody who cares or pretends to care about the environment, they want to talk about doing something that's environmentally conservative. But all the alternatives that are proposed all represent plastics. It's all fucking plastic.
Yes.
Plastic fucking kills people. Plastic is horrible for the environment. And yes, I'm very passionate about this subject. It's all plastic, and it gets into our water supply. It gets into all of our ecosystems. It's not just the ocean. It's the things that are the building blocks of all of our ecosystems across the world. It's all of our it's basically our entire world.
Yes. It's bigger problem than CO2, carbon. It's one of the number one problems because it's also causing mass extinction in the oceans. So the biggest problem we have is plastic. It's not carbon. It's not CO2. It's plastic.
It's fucking
and a lot
plastic.
of people know it.
It's all fucking plastic. Every time something is presented as an alternative to our existing production, our industrial life cycles, it's always fucking plastic. And plastic is the worst. It is the absolute worst thing to happen to humanity.
Why'd you have to mention plastic? Who mentioned who mentioned plastic?
I mean, a mixture of Kell, and then I just kind of fanned the flames because
you knew this was gonna. You knew this would get him going.
A good intro documentary is Tapped. If you've never heard of it,
yes. Yes.
What's another one? Neptune. You know others. Give them out.
There is a good one. I forget the guy's name. There's a good documentary on YouTube. I'm gonna put it in the comments. Jimmy, please leave it down there in the links.
Seriously, you bring up a good point though. I started a couple of weeks ago. That's about a month ago actually. I have been saving all of my plastic containers while getting on my gardening and everything going and getting my plants started. I started saving all my plastic containers, milk, juice, and stuff like that. It really doesn't hit you like how much plastic a household uses until you have accumulated it in a large quantity over a short period of time, with the good intention of reusing it. It is absolutely insane. Like the amount of plastic I've accumulated. Really, no joke, man. No joke. Just over a short period of time. And imagine that over decades.
And that's the real problem, right? Because it starts in one ecosystem, and then it just bleeds into all of the other ecosystems.
Oh, and we're not even
we're not even the number one.
Just in the ocean.
No. And
what is it? Is it the Philippines, Malaysia, and Indonesia, something like that?
That story is fascinating. It was the head of the Philippines got a lot of trash from the Canadian government. There was a boat full of it, and for years it was basically in the ocean. And they told Canada, if you don't take your ship back, we're gonna drown it in the ocean, and we're gonna blame you for it.
Yeah.
The president was like tired. The Canadians, stop throwing your shit on our territory. The Canadian government was just
and don't get started on like the masks that were fished out of the ocean over the last few years. The disposable masks that were fished out of the water over the last few years.
Yeah.
That in and of itself is a whole other problem besides plastics.
Right.
And I agree with everybody's point. And plastic is a major problem. And really, we got to take responsibility for our actions. We are trashy people. And we throw shit in the ocean we don't think about. But listen.
We aren't even in the top 10 America.
The nuclear plant in China, that nuclear meltdown to where it spilled into the ocean and contaminated.
I don't even think we're in the top 10 for any type of pollution.
Look,
right.
We're in such a period of overcorrection that we feel like we need to go above and beyond to try to save the environment in ways that I feel like most people do not understand absolutely fucking kill us. Yeah. That is the real problem with the contamination of plastics in general, but not just that, just everything. We are in such a period, in such a state of wanting to overcorrect for fucking everything that we want to destroy the environment while we pretend to say, hey, I'm fucking virtue signaling.
Nobody needs to. Hey, nobody better mention microplastics either.
Or Germany shutting down the nuclear power plants.
Man, that is absolutely one of the dumb. Yeah, and they're going to start using a whole shitload more coal.
No, it's worse. The U.S. sells them. What's it called? Like
LNG.
The clean biofuel, which is essentially wood, which is dirtier than coal.
It is astounding, like the stupidity people are going for this whole green initiative, like net zero. People will virtue signal that straight to an early grave.
They've been engineered to.
Oil will always win. Oil has always won. Oil will always win.
And they're going to use oil, and they're going to use oil to fund the need for these environmentally green-friendly initiatives. And that is the greatest oxymoron of all time.
So what you're saying is
breaking.
What you're saying is that the muscle car needs to return. The true muscle car.
We're somehow hitting a horseshoe theory with that, being perfectly honest, but
I mean, but if the true muscle car returns, it's catch me with your electric Tesla. Come on, I dare you. Like, I mean,
no. I tell you what, it's going to be. It's going to be Mad Max type shit. I watch a guy on TikTok. I can't remember his TikTok, the name of him. But he has this 1982, 83 Dodge D250 called Stinky Pete. It's an old 12 valve Cummins diesel, and he makes his own diesel fuel at home with a percentage of gas and a percentage of like vegetable oil or expired or old motor oil and stuff like that. This is the type of stuff that is going to be, this guy is going to be driving his truck for another 50 years like this, way past the length of like the EVs.
There's a lot of the guys, a lot of the hipster guys, and I give Asheville a lot of shit. There's a lot of Asheville guys with Mercedes because as much as Asheville is hipster as fuck, Asheville also has got a lot of fucking wrench monkeys, right? So there's a lot of people with those old, those old Mercedes E200 diesel cars.
The D250s, the D200s. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, they got a lot of those and they run fucking veggie oil in them.
You can drive those cars to 500,000, 600,000
and they
miles.
won't fucking die. They will not quit.
Hemp oil until the big oil company had ran that idea under the rug, right? But humanity are inventors. When there wasn't no TV and radio, there was more inventions being invented because we didn't have the boob tube distracting us, right? You have Stanley Myers. We supposed to bend away from this oil shit, and it's holding humanity's progress back. The more we stay on this oil gas and let them tell us what resource is important and is not, when we could have been used aquaponics and hemp oil and a whole lot of other stuff to get it. They could design a tire right now that don't bust, so you won't have to buy a tire every 3-4 months.
We already have those tires. We already have them. We've had them for years. I mean, you can get them for certain cars as well. It's just they're super duper expensive. But they already have tires that can last for 10 years.
I don't like for them to play like they so concerned about humanity's well-being when they really hold us back. You see what I'm saying? And they're doing it with
over anything. They just want to make more profit.
Yep. When the protests, when the people was being ruly and belligerent, the police precincts infiltrated the protesters and threw bottles and rocks at the police officers to incite the riot.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
fellas, when we got a system, it's like, and the whistleblowers that come out in the open that save humanity with divine truth that gives us clarity on what's going on. How do they ostracize the whistleblowers? Don't protect them, knock them off. What about the holistic doctors that's really the healers? Why they get knocked off? So I don't want us to sit here and pretend not to see the hidden hand that's playing like they're doing good, but then they let Nestle pollute our waters and don't get taxed for using waters that, come on, man.
Wait, I was going to mention for the undercover stuff, I think for the Proud Boys case related, I think to January 6th, there was more FBI agents than there were Proud Boys.
Wow.
Oh, remember Governor Whitmore? She was getting kidnapped, and the majority of the kidnappers were FBI, not the.
It was 4 out of the 6. It was 4 out of the 6 were actual FBI agents, and at one point in time, a majority of the 1%er biker gangs, a majority of them were actually federal agents.
Yes, I heard that.
Like, what the heck? Like, who are we fighting? Ourselves?
The industrial revolution and its consequences have been a disaster for the entire human race.
You love that book. You need to have a framed copy on the wall, signed by his.
I do. He's actually just up the road from me. I should go up there just to say hello and actually get his autograph before he passes on to the next life.
Good Lord. So Tess, have you got any new projects you've been working on?
Yes. Do you mean music or just like ones in general?
All around. I'd love to hear
all around. Well, I did put that last one out. What was it, like a week ago? And I was when I made that, I made a video of like, as many people I could find, which I know, like Luis, you knew about that. You knew about that when I was like stitching together a music video for this song, because I wanted to showcase people that, you know, for whatever word you want to use, people that are pro-truth or pro-liberty, or people that are actually in the solution. I wanted to showcase that because it's so easy. One, I have a lot of people that come to me who are waking up and they feel really alone, and they're like, no one else is seeing this. It's just me. I'm like, no. Like, there really are a lot of people out here, and it's also like not all doom and gloom, like black pill shit, like overwhelmed, like they're, you know, in the solution. So I wanted to showcase that. YouTube had a problem with it, so I thought it was gonna have like zero visibility, but that did not happen. And so I was very grateful that came out. Aside from that, like, I have a handful of new songs that I'm going to be releasing, a show in like 10 days and an album. And then I also recently started a Substack called Memento Mori Alchemy. So, I mean, death has just been like a really big part of my life, and I've had 10 people close to me die in just the last 18 months. Some of them were just a few weeks ago. So I do like to talk about, you know, how being so close to the Reaper and death and the lessons that teaches you can actually be used to, you know, become stronger and live a life of even deeper purpose. So that's going. And then oh shit, I just did a podcast like 2 nights ago with this chick around here, and I could only put the first 20 minutes on YouTube before I had to cut it. It's like only on Rumble and then all the audio only apps, because we started saying, you know, keywords that will get you thrown off, but that one was fun. So yeah, it's mostly just like, that's what's going on the surface, and then beneath that, I am still plotting my fucking escape out of the urban areas and like back to the land. That is still my goal. That is 100% my goal, is to just get out there and get back to the practices that, you know, even my own grandmother knew and that I don't know, you know what I mean? So I just want to get the hell out of the cities really, and get out of like, you know, the jobs and the fucking bullshit taxes, everything. You're still in the Southeast, right? You're still down here in our general jurisdiction. Yes. Yeah. I'm in Tennessee. I'm just like maybe 30 miles south of downtown Nashville. Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, believe it or not, a lot of these, it's not that I'm trying to tell everybody so that they can come this way, but I keep telling folks that there seems to be a lot of country still out here in the Southeast. You know, people are like, oh, it's populated, oh, it's this, that, and the other, and it's just like, you know, no, it's I chose to be where I am because there's a whole lot of nothing, and there's a whole lot of areas that still have like you don't have city councils and all this other stuff because the town barely has 1,000 people in it. Like, these towns still exist in parts of Georgia, you know? No, down south, it's not overpopulated. We just don't want fucking liberal leftist bullshit. You can stay in Atlanta. Like,
nobody wants an HOA.
They can wall Atlanta off. No, fuck your HOA. Stay the fuck up wherever the fuck you came from if you can't fucking adapt to the fucking area you're in. God,
tell me how you really feel.
Yeah, I'm definitely anti-HOA. Like I fucking hate an HOA. I fucking hate an HOA. I had to reshare that goddamn meme the other day. Sir, we're here to talk about your lawn. It's a half-inch overgrown. No, fuck you. No, fuck off.
So I'm gonna ask you, Tess, like I'm sorry, JD. I'm gonna ask Tess something real quick. Initially, when we was talking about mind control, right? When they was using that against you, right? When they was telling you what to think about what they was doing to you, did you have any premonition? Like, did you have no problem with believing them, or did you have vibrations? JB had vibrations about the guy who was speaking about earlier. Did you feel any did your spider senses go off at all? Like something wasn't right about this? Oh,
100% of the time. 100%. It's like I still have a really close friend that was in there with me. at like one that I talk to regularly, and she's just now like starting to realize that what happened in there wasn't right and was fucked up, because they do brainwash you to believe it's your fault, this is normal, nothing bad is like, you know, all the bullshit. So they really had a lot of people thinking that. For some reason, I never bought into it. I was always constantly in trouble because of that, and always like under some form of ongoing punishment the entire time. But she's like just now realizing it, and I have another friend, same thing, and it's like it will like fucking shatter your life when all of a sudden all those memories come back and you're like, oh my God, that was not okay. And I've believed it, but yeah, I didn't I mean, I never escaped, you know, but I definitely knew the shit was fucked up, and like all I ever thought about when I was in there, up until a certain point, then you just have to like try to just survive and not think about it because it makes you crazy. But all I ever thought about was getting out. So I never like, they would call it getting into agreement. And I'm like, well, I never made a fucking agreement with you. I was taken from my home and put here. So I never agreed shit, but that was always their thing, is making people feel like, you know, we use the word compliance in today's society, but in that facility, that's like the same fucking thing. Is, you know what I mean? So it was really creepy.
You know the movie like The Truman Show, right? When they had the fake friend around him, helping him make the decision that they wanted him. Did they at from point A, before you got to the facility and they actually started experimenting on you and playing the mind fuck on you, right? Before and after, did they have anyone planted near you to like suggest to you how to view what was happening to you? Before, like, I'm trying to see if they have anyone planning around you to help you get to the point to they be able to use you in the experimentation. And after, like you said, you've been having vibes that something went right about the whole thing. Did they have someone around you that was making you doubt yourself or what you was feeling?
Not to my knowledge. I mean, like the people that worked there would check in on you, but they weren't near me physically. When I got out, I think I was about to turn 16 when I got out. So I was like 15, but, I got taken in by my then boyfriend's, family, and like, they were very protective. And so like, I was not around the family that I came from or any of those people. But they would like, when like MySpace came out, because when I got out, MySpace was a thing. I don't think it was when I went in. I can't really remember, but they would find us like that. But I didn't have anybody like following me in person or anything like that.
Good. I don't know they got so many tactics they use on us.
Yeah, it was multiple for sure. It's the psychology, the attacking, the deprivation, isolation, not allowing you to smile, withholding food, and also the biggest thing, in my opinion, was administering psychotropic drugs, which they were not licensed to do, and which are all blacklisted for minors, and we were all minors. So like forced medicating, I think was probably one of the biggest things. I mean, that'll fuck your head up.
Mm-hmm. Did you like have like go into a state where you was like an alter ego that took place up that wasn't there before the MLK alter? Because I heard that they supposed to like cause a rip in your mental fabric so they could like have you like susceptible to another entity being able to co-inhabit your body with you. Like they say, Beyonce, when she goes on the stage, even Beyonce herself admitted that Sasha, whatever she called her alter ego, you feel me? Mm-hmm. That it's not her. And clearly she's been a part of the Ultra, the MLK Ultra thing as well. I'm trying to see that angle.
The angle?
Like, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it is weird I can only speak on where I was, but the place, like if somebody wants to, I guess I could put it in the chat if someone wants to look at it. There's a lot of information, but the school is called CEDU. It's shut down. It lost so many child abuse lawsuits, but it stands for Charles E. Diedrich University, which is weird because it's not a university, but he was a cult leader in Southern California. He like tried to kill the LA sheriff. He was fucking nuts, but That's like his shit. So it's long history. Joe Rogan has an episode that's, I believe, still on YouTube that you can find. It was before he signed his Spotify deal, but he had someone who went there on. So I don't know, like, honestly, I don't know what the angle was, because I was the last group that was ever there before it got shut, like legally shut down. Like all of a sudden, like everybody, all the staff was walking out. We're like, what the fuck's going on? They're like, we're getting shut down. You're leaving. And we're like, I'm like, cool, you know, but no, I never experienced like, that breaking of the personality or the splitting of the personality that we do see in a lot of severe cases of trauma-based mind control, luckily. So no, I don't have that. Thank God.
No, that's
the worst scenario to come up with is like, you know how the Spanish colonized America, came over and our whole dimension paradigm right here on our plane, it has been colonized by other entities that's not human. You hear me? And they flipped the teachings to say that God created man and what they did, they came themselves man's image and infiltrated us and took over all the high powerful positions in our society. Just like there's a fungi that takes over an ant and have the ant climb to the highest point of the colony and the body taking over, and then a spur come out the fungus and take over the whole, they'll wipe out the whole colony. There are also parasites parasite the human brain. And the word Elohim in Genesis is plural, right? And then the passage itself says openly, let us create man. So it's not no one entity talking to itself. That's psychotic, right? It's a group of entities that have colonized humanity, and they are usurping all the resources, just like some powerful companies will buy out another company, and they'll just run up the tab on it and then file for Chapter 7 and date it, and they're leaving with all assets. I think that's what they're doing here. So gradually, they're taking away more and more of humanity's rights. And yes, they do want it to go to Armageddon. They do want it to be no life plants, no nothing natural around. And they are slowly poisoning our resources. They got the seed bank, so now they're putting out the GMOs in all the grocery stores. They subsidize the farmers not to farm now. So they're killing us by smiling and acting like they're doing great is good for us. They know they're not.
I don't doubt within the next couple of years that we're going to see, because I know they've already tried it a little bit, and like I don't see it like being enforced, but I can see them trying to paint people in the media that are growing their own food as bad guys, just like they painted people who weren't wearing a mask as bad guys. You know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna try to convince those same people.
I'll die on that hill, man.
Oh, me too. But I'm saying though, they're gonna try to convince the same people. But think about it. Think about the control.
Convince me to give that up. I mean,
I'm not trying to say that they're going to convince you to give it up. That's not at all what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying
no. I know you're not.
They're going to try to.
I know you're not.
They're going to try to paint you and I and such even as some kind of bad guy because
there's not enough right now. There's not enough right now. They've got to slow drip it a little bit longer before they could successfully pull something like that off, because there's still too many people.
Can they? Because look at how quick they got everybody.
They're gonna try and slow drip it.
Look how quick they
took people's gun rights, right? With the marijuana, you got a marijuana card. You cannot have a legal.
No, but I mean, I'm
gonna go get me a car. Oh, it's legal now, and they ran down there not knowing you losing your fucking gun rights.
Oh, I know, but I mean, what I'm getting at is just like they painted in the media for multiple straight years, and again, I know it backfired. I'm not going to say that this isn't going to backfire, but I could easily,
like I said, they're going to try.
I could easily foresee them trying to paint people that are growing their own food and growing, because they're already trying to turn different herbs into substance. And I know this is a whole tribe basis. I don't doubt it has not the repercussions that they, is not going to go the way that they expect it to go. But like
Well,
I could easily see them on
not
the news
now, at least.
I could easily see them on the news saying that people like you and I that have our tomato plants hanging in our front porch, those are your enemy. You know what I mean? Like
They
that's all.
vampires bad. Do you know how much money goes to NASA per year and man never went to the moon?
Dude,
So
there's a good thing that's been coming out that Bandit sent me earlier. It was Bandit or Luis one. I think Luis sent it about them trying to get more funding for because what is it? Russia has space weapons, and they need weapon. Ukraine's gonna need something to fight these space weapons or something.
I'm just thinking now, and it looks like it is that this is all theater.
Mm-hmm.
And that China already won potentially, because this is getting ludicrous at this point. It's like, what's going on? Like, is this all a show just to make Xi Jinping look good? I mean, we have literally a puppet.
Winnie the Pooh.
We have a puppet with strings as the supposed president, and anybody with a functioning brain knows that that is not the president. So why are they playing this game of, hey, look over there, don't look over here?
Winnie the Flu.
Yeah.
No, that's what he spread was Winnie the Flu. But he's over there eating his honey pot right now. Like just with his belly hanging out, just enjoying his honey.
Hey Louise, I want to ask you, right? With them indicting, right? Now keep in mind, I don't play politics game, but I do attend, right? And Trump made it retroactive to where black HBCUs didn't have to renew annually for subsidiaries. They didn't have to. Because it was other colleges that was non-black that didn't have to do it. They were automatically getting it each year. And Trump was the only. Obama did this. Trump made where black HBCUs get it just like everybody else get it when they had to file, right? As well as some other stuff he did. And keep in mind, he was really not talking about it, but out to drain the swamp. It was more child trafficking rings under attack on the Trump administration. And the moment Biden got in, you see him about these task force.
I mean, Biden's group is BlackRock. Biden's basically BlackRock runs the White House.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's wrong with that?
All right. I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole right now. This is definitely not the night, nor do we have the time to discuss that. But can we really discuss at some point, Jimmy, in the near future, the larger implications of the CJNG and the fact that the U.S. Armed Forces literally got their own hands dug into actually training those guys just to fight back against the Zetas and the Sinaloa cartel, only for them to propagate
Texas thing.
I see what time it is. I'm still in the podcast. I'm finna get. Come on.
Yeah, that's a whole thing. We don't have to get it. We don't have
the whole. We authorized basically the use of military to fight the cartels. I'm like,
we authorized so much fucking
we just authorized war with Mexico.
Yeah, and the fact that the fucking Deltas and SEALs, we had tier 1 teams training ex-Mexican special forces.
That's been going on for a while.
That's been going on for a while now, and that's a whole thing. I don't think we have time to go into.
On a positive note, French protesters did shoot flares into BlackRock.
Oh no, they got into the building.
I loved that.
Oh, did they?
Yo, there was 9 million people out protesting.
I need the sauce on this. I have to see this.
9 million?
They stormed into the BlackRock's office in Paris and, went pretty balls to the wall. Apparently, there's.
Apparently, what you're not seeing is.
Go ahead.
The police departments are completely overwhelmed in France.
They
like
can't take it.
severely.
They're running away from protesters at
Yep.
some points because they're like, oh, you know what? They're not paying me enough for this bull.
Yeah.
And the thing is, eventually people don't get two parts. The reason the right to bear arms exists is because eventually people get pissed off enough and they'll walk out with weapons. And when they do, guess what? Those police officers, those military officials, they don't want to fire against people they know, even if they're in a different area. They don't want to do that. So they won't. And they'll turn around and they'll say, you know what? Why are we defending them again?
That also is a subject that would take. We don't have the time to discuss this right now.
Yes, it's very complex, of course.
There's a lot going on.
It's a very complex discussion about that. It would take a whole other episode.
There's a line though in Prison Break. Actually, if you guys haven't watched it, I definitely recommend it. I do enjoy Prison Break a lot. But in the first season, about 3/4 of the way through, they get run up on by a bunch of inmates, and this guy says, "I ain't about to be a hero for $14 an hour."
Mm-hmm.
And
I remember that.
Yeah, it's like it. That's very true. Like, no, there is a breaking point for them too. That they don't. There is a straw that will break the camel's back eventually. Like
it happened in Egypt.
Yeah, look at Muammar Gaddafi.
No, that's Libya.
That was Libya.
That was Libya.
That was Libya.
I'm
Stab that dude in the butt.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah, that went really south. And that was the French and the U.S.
That was gnarly. That was bad. That was
Speaking of
bad.
Egypt,
and I won't give the U.S.
totally off
credit for
subject.
Right. I won't give the U.S. credit for
Egypt
that, but,
just shipped 40 something thousand missiles to Russia.
Oh jeez. That's gonna be fun.
Oh, Egypt getting involved. Isn't that beautiful?
Oh, wonderful.
They had nothing else to do. You know, crumbling infrastructure, trash piling up. But no, let's get involved in the stupidest war ever made.
Nah, there's been dumber wars than this.
Oh, yeah. But top 10 of the 21st century.
Oh, what?
The Ukraine war will be in the top 10.
We could always talk about how Australian Army garrison forces
lost to birds.
Terry's not here to defend himself. We can't.
Yeah, we can't do that to Terry.
we can't do that.
Sorry, Terry.
We can't do that to
Terry. So Tess.
And island incident, all those rich motherfuckers that was on that fucking list that we don't have no clue. But you could best believe it goes so high up that it's barely news anymore.
I mean, they found the footage.
They did
so there's that.
They did.
So something's big. Eventually, it'll come out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What? Whoa! What did you say?
Yeah, they reported they finally have revealed publicly that they have the footage.
They did
of him killing himself.
No, of all the fuckery that happened. Like finally they confessed. Like, oh, we have it. We have the videos of Bill Clinton and Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, we'll still never see it.
Yeah. They said that there's a whole thing.
You can look at the news reports. Yeah, they finally openly said it. What everybody knew, but you know.
Oh yeah, I mean,
man, you're really gonna wake up and see what the fuck they're doing. Anytime you got,
if they sink Bill Clinton, you think they'll use him as a? You think they'll use him as a patsy to just kind of
Bill Clinton's mummy? They'll kill him if they want to.
Oh yeah, they'll kill Bill. They'll kill Bill.
They'll kill Bill.
But I mean, seriously,
you think his ass? And
you think they'll use him as a patsy to kind of just like, hey, here we offer him up as a sacrifice.
Everybody hates Clinton. Everybody hates.
We'll offer him up as a sacrifice to just forget about everybody else that went to the island.
Clinton too deep in.
Everybody hates Hillary Clinton.
Under his president, they had a core in prison, which was making the prison clothes, the prison shoes. So him and Hillary was making a killing.
Oh yeah, they've been robbing
No pun
everybody,
intended.
bro.
Administration.
Yeah, no. If anything were to happen to Bill, they'd probably write it off as natural causes. Probably the same with his wife, for what that's worth. For what that's worth.
I don't know. She's got a streak going. You think they're gonna stop her streak for most friends to die and like what is it, 50-something friends?
I don't know.
You have
I
to be
honestly
human
don't
first
know,
to die of
man.
natural causes. So I don't think that's going to be Hillary.
That's true.
So Tess, I want to ask you, like, you being the lady of the panel, right? We are very brilliant geniuses as men along this panel with, but I'm interested to hear what your feminine is tell you about the outcomes that way. Do you sense a emergency, or do you feel that everything's all right? Because I'm trying to tap into your feminine divine person who is more connected to the cosmos than men are. Not saying we are not, because we have some high sensitive men these days that have awakened. But women, y'all somehow naturally have that instinct to nurture, right? Do you think they would get away with what they doing? Do you see humanity waking up and say, "Oh, these bitches trying to kill her"?
I mean, shit. I think about that shit all the time. Honestly, fuck, man, I don't know. I mean, that's a really good question, and I go back and forth with it all the time because on one hand, I'm like, with the amount of stuff that all of us have been through, even like, let's just even isolate just the last 3 years. Sure. You could have gone back to 2019 and told me, this, that, and the third about like mandates and all the shit that happened with the lockdowns and like a million other fucking things. And I would have been like, absolutely not. Like, we'd be in the streets, like we'd be out there shooting motherfuckers. Like, no way would we let this shit happen. They try to talk about like, they're putting fucking mRNA in the produce and like even injecting it into the elk that people hunt. Just the crazy shit that's going on. People's kids being part of an experiment. Nobody gives a fuck. Like, people dying. Nobody gives a fuck. I would have imagined we would have already woken up and revolted. But what I greatly underestimated is like the unbelievably perfected psychological finessing that is the propaganda that works on my own flesh and blood. I've had my own flesh and blood turn on me because a TV told them to, with no provocation on my end. So I've seen shit that I never thought I would see. So at this point, like, I honestly don't know, because I've gotten so convicted in certain vibes or feelings of, oh shit, this is it. Oh shit, the grid's about to go down. Oh shit, like they're going to execute, like the end stage is happening. But what I see happening, I do see it happening, but I'm kind of like, I think that would be the best case scenario, honestly, is if we went full tilt tyranny, we all go fucking Mad Max, because that's enough of a shock to wake the people that are kind of like, they could go either way, which is the majority of people, I think. I think that would wake them up, you know what I mean? But the worst case scenario for the side of humanity is the slow burn, because people just become a combination of adjusted to it. It's like that boiling a frog metaphor. It's 100% on point. And people just become so ground down that what I even hear people actually saying now is they're like, yeah, everything's going to shit and falling apart. I don't care. I just want to tune out and like watch my shows and get drunk. I have literally heard people, grown adults, say that shit. So I'm like, fuck.
Where collectively humanity, no faith in it. It's groups like us that I believe in now, because after the facts came out that the government did 9/11, right? And then that information was so constricted, it was actually, you could Google it and say, but people after find out that our government decision planes, that what plane that hit this, and when I found out that journalism is really dead and that all the media outlets are just puppets for the power people's agenda to play fuck game on our mind, I lost kind of faith, because like, how to see these things and still back to believing that this group of people, I thought energy would wake up in. When we found out that, and the firefighters that said they heard bombs going up, and all of them, those firefighters came up dead. Trina with the levees and intentionally to flood out. The hand, I can see the hand that's going everything they're doing, but I'm so afraid because humanity knows it. Just like on any state. Right now, for belief system on this podcast, if they wanted to, they could have the whole people that know our heart, know, but they will convince the people that we did shit, and ain't nobody gonna question. Look at the Sebi. Not the Sebi, but question, fuck this man, $10,000 from him, then next time he in the hotel waiting, scared, just by half certain amount of dollars on it from one to another, and then the man come dead as a holistic healing doctor that healed all kind of diseases through natural. You see me? Nobody question it. All these Hollywood people into the adrenaline room and the police officers that confess they seen on that laptop healing and they had nightmares. And these guys weren't saying, what are you dealing with? I'm in the Twilight Zone. What's going on?
Oh, right. It's just it's but see, I don't know. I feel different about it. We joke around about the Flintstones kind of Jetsons idea all the time and stuff like that. But at the same time, like I've been once again seeing people getting fed up and getting angry, and a lot of people as of recent are really struggling thanks to inflation. Like the trip to the grocery store is getting out just absolutely ridiculous. Impossible.
Yeah.
It really is. You could to comfortably get a week's worth of groceries, you're looking like, if you were to comfortably get a week's worth of groceries that would fill everything back up, it'd probably be $300-$400.
Easily.
Period. You know what I mean? Like it wouldn't. You're just kind of scraping by on a lot of things, and there's some places that food in different areas is a cheaper aspect, but like that's all the more reason to be doing more myself. Like,
inflation
you know what I mean?
is the biggest tax on the poor.
What
about the cryptocurrency now? These guys came up, Cash App guy come up there. These guys that something, a best system for humanity to be free, right? And now the government coming out with, they take control of all it comes to your bank through their little cash, and then it goes to you. So they done muscle their way in like this medical marijuana business. All the people that locked up get life sentence for fucking marijuana. Now they get hand in it and monopolizing and getting powerful, legalizing marijuana. Come on, like. But I do believe in the spirit, like William Cooper, Jock Fresco, John Brown back in the days, the only white guy that was really he was an abolitionist who was really acting to the top of the system, and not talk about it when Frederick E. D. Bose was too afraid to do it. A white man that went, him and his two sons, mind you, for humanity to have it. It's sad. People that just gonna talk about what's going on, and American, and Jesse Jackson, and all these keepers, they'll say some nice things that have good ones, but really they buffers to keep the people from anarchy. It's countries that went to that goddamn town hall, running them politicians up out of that bed and kill some of them. Feel me? In certain countries, will that if they're not doing right by the people. Not here. No, we do. We give them nice, fat, long retirements and a nice long careers. They old as fuck, can't even think straight, and they still up in a fucking Congress. Haven't done nothing for humanity 30 fucking years, and they still here X amount of dollars per year for what? Yeah. Humanity is so smart, and we don't need the fucking system, bro. We don't. We don't need.
I mean, no. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not. I'm by no means worried. By no means worried about like their their actions in any way, to be honest. I pay attention to what they're doing, but at the same time, I know where I'm at and what I've got going on. It excuse me, where I'm at, well, like what I've got going on, like that's never gonna stop. And the building of like local farm communities, and then just the general idea, like Luis spurred a bug in me a few months back talking about some land grant ideas and USDA type stuff or whatever. And I got to researching it. And the more I researched, I was like, hey, this is actually pretty cool. And then I learned about some loopholes in it that have to do with, actual women and even people of color that get like some extra bonus on top of it and stuff like that, that make it that, bump people to the front of the line. And it keeps making me want more and more every day to be like, forget this. We can just find great people like Tess and of course the rest of the group here and other people that we've talked to in the past, and just work on doing our own thing. Like I have done a really good job at, even with this show, flying under the radar when it comes to a lot of things throughout life. And I think there's ways that we could all in a way work together and successfully fly under the radar for the rest of our life into the future, and even for other futures and stuff, while
Fly under the radar to a certain point, though.
It's going to continue to crumble around us. Like their system is falling apart.
You don't have to wait. You don't have to have that. You don't have to have that big plot. You don't have to have that big plot of land out in the woods to do something. I mean, you can work with
right?
You can work with what you got right now until you get to that point. Like I've got a small chunk right now. I'm doing what I can with what I got until I reach that point. No sense in putting off doing something.
I understand
until
that.
You get something bigger and better.
I understand that.
I work with what I got right now.
But at the same time, all of us working with what we have right now, and we're all scattered. Okay, and
that's the problem.
Okay, that's the problem.
We got a bigger reach that way.
True, but at the same time, we don't.
We're weaker.
Yep. We're weaker because we're all scattered.
I see what you're getting at. I know what you're talking about.
And the same theory that you have right there that you were just saying about, you just need to do with what you have. Like I think we need to do the same thing and do with what we have, and we need to figure out a way to
come together.
More of us do it together as a group, because we are more powerful in bigger numbers. You know what I mean?
We need to pool what we have. Like everybody right here on this show right now. Instead of us worrying about what's going on in the outside world, if all of us get together, form an LLC, an investment LLC, we get us some land, right? We leverage the land, so we in the private sector using the EINs and getting away from playing their game.
There's all of playing their game against them.
Let me finish, Jay. The land that we get, we all live on that land.
You have to designate that land a homestead. Because then it's protected from it can't possessed.
So we have our city hall, our own police force and everything, and we could do what is a form of currency of trade that we like to, but we don't need outside work for nothing. We got we grow our own food,
and that's what I'm looking at is like trying. We've already kind of all got our own systems built against scattered. Like I think that the next step in this situation is looking at how we can bring all of us together. Like that to me seems like a reasonable goal. And I know like the number one rule in the internet world is that person that I don't know on the side of the internet is a fed, but I think that is a ridiculous way to look at it, because if I thought everybody was a fed, I wouldn't have met the amazing people that I have in this panel and that we've had on this show and stuff like that. And I think that not only these people, but also people that I've met in the past on the show and other people that I deal with on a regular basis, that all have this same general idea, like because their system is clearly falling apart. Their system is clearly not working. Why not use what little bit of pieces of their system we can against them to stabilize ourselves into
Absolutely.
something to be ready to be completely self-sufficient while Rome continues to crumble, because that to me is what I see going on. That's why I see all of the cards being thrown on the table. They're throwing out constant mass shootings again. They're throwing out fear about this, fear about that, fear about this. Look at, President Puddin Pants eat ice cream while this is going on over here and stuff like that. But like, when the reality of it is fuck those guys. Like fuck those guys. Quit showing them any attention. Quit turning on CNN. Everybody that works in a owned business that's not one of these ridiculous mega corporations. Everybody that works in these business, stop. As terrible as this sounds, stop paying taxes. Stop into this. Stop feeding this system. Let this system continue to crumble while we work on building our own system and build like-minded individuals. And I understand that there are many different outlooks on the theorism of anarchy and stuff like that. And everybody wants different cultures. Well, my cultural idea is that we're gonna leave each other alone, but at the same time help each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not here to hurt one another. We're here to work hand in hand, and that's cool. I'm not trying to get into anybody else's business, and I know there are people out there that have slightly similar, different views or whatever. I'm just trying to encourage you, get with your clan, find your clan, and
your local political problems mean more than whatever the hell those fucking dick beaters are doing in Washington D.C.
But build something with your clan, and I'm not even gonna 100% volunteer for doing it completely entirely local. Like, there's some towns that are close to me that have over 300,000 people. And do I think you're going to make that much of a difference in a place like that? I personally don't. But I think that you're better off working on building with people that you are like-minded with. And there are places like that are out there. But I think that there's more of an ability to build something like that if you just take the effort to build it. Like, I know it sounds scary. I know it sounds like Waco. I know it sounds like Ruby Ridge, but for fuck's sake, if you have 30 of the smartest men you can come up with, you could hold off anything more than you could think, and you don't even need that many.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that, and that is my goal too, by the way. So 100%.
Mine too. That's always been something in my mind, is that I would like to just figure out how to set it up to where I could have my clan with me while the rest of the world burns.
Don't use clan. Don't use that word.
I've been saying the word clan the whole time, so why are you just not having a problem with it? I didn't say clan. I didn't say the other comment. Why can't I use clan? I want to use the word clan. I'm not using it in that aspect.
Now you just got to figure out what state.
Clash of Clans.
Now you just got to figure out what state.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. What state would be a good? There's bunches of options out there that have things set up that you could just take what you needed to take and step away from the system. You made mention of the homestead thing. I've looked at that in mixture with some of these grants, and if you played your cards right, if you dealt yourself this card right and did these things and used their own wording against them, you could get all these awesome land grants, turn around and designate it as a homestead, and practically go bankrupt on it, and there's nothing they can do about it. It's worth doing, though, but it's worth using their own crap against them while they fall apart, because again, I don't foresee America as one giant whole federal thing 50 years from now. I don't see that as a thing. Like, I see different balkanized areas of the United States that more like it was originally planned to be.
I mean,
different states, different ideas.
It's actually going to be more like Europe, if anything. I think Europe, because the alternative is the Amero and the North American Union, which is the unification of Canada, Mexico, and the United States as one.
Well, didn't Mexico just join BRICS?
No, Mexico's not gonna. Mexico works with Russia, but they're not gonna do BRICS. They're not that stupid.
They applied to join BRICS.
Oh, see.
to some degree, but not in all the ways. In trade aspect, for sure, because of China, not because of Russia.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess they applied and they have already participated in BRICS summits, but they're not official members yet. They've gone to their summits like as observers and a guest, and they just applied to be part, but they're not officially in yet, from what I'm seeing.
They're exploring the possibility of joining BRICS groups of nations. So it's definitely a thing that's apparently on the table. So I've been having some fun with a new segment here on the show, Tess, since the last time you were around, where I use a random AI generator online, which I've got a new one that I'm using tonight called Random Question Maker. And I get it to build me a random question to ask my guests, and of course the panel that I have, if they feel like answering it as well. A AI created question that's randomly created, like it's supposed to be silly. I put in some prompts, but it's mostly comical type prompts because I like to laugh and think that it's always worth a laugh. So I would sit here playing with it this evening, and I figured that tonight's question, that out of the three that popped up, the one that I decided that I'm going to go with is excuse me, I apologize. If you could start a collection of one kind of item, what would it be?
If I could start a collection of one kind of item, well, the first thing I thought of was like guns or ammo, but and we're saying item, right? So like nothing alive, like not like chickens or anything like that.
Sure.
Based.
Guns is like weapons. Also, like level 4 plates and like adequate body armor and shit like that, I would say.
Dragon
for
skin.
me. Huh?
Dragon skin.
Dragon skin?
Oh yeah, look up dragon skin.
Oh, I thought you were going for a Skyrim reference right there.
Are you talking about chainmail?
No, look up
chainmail.
It's the best armor that is available.
Ooh, let me see. Ooh, what if it's what one of my friends just got?
5,000 plus.
Oh my god! Look at that.
It ain't for. So some soldiers were getting those shipped because that was superior to what the U.S. military gave them.
Oh,
yeah, but they each of those dragon skin vests were so expensive that's why the original project was scrapped, because a soldier's life was not worth that much.
Well,
I mean, they are actually, but I mean, in every single way imaginable.
According to the government.
I want this one. Like this.
Oh, is this this is the ceramic scale plate armor thing?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, the dragon skin. I remember seeing that when it first was out. And it was fabulous.
NIJ couldn't figure out a way
because
to
of
actually
expense.
Yeah.
Right, so Neptune,
NIJ couldn't figure out how to actually do that.
Neptune, you ain't been around on a while, so how would you answer that question?
What was the question again? Sorry, my brain's fucked.
If you could start a collection of one kind of item, what would it be?
If I could start a collection of one type of item, that would probably have to be water purifiers. Honestly,
that's a good one.
And let me just say why is you can never be dependable upon a freshwater source. You always need a way to guarantee a fresh water supply. So
gravel, sand, activated charcoal, a 400 micron filter, and 2 5-gallon buckets from Lowe's.
Yeah. But that obviously, right? That's not something everybody could guarantee, on an infinite level. So that's something that would at least hold people over, right?
Fair.
At least in my mind, that's probably something that I would say. That or a geometric shit ton of wolf ammo. Because 7.62 by 39 gang for the win.
Bliat. Suka bliat.
Luis, what are you going to call it?
The consciousness modules of the aliens that keep importing into our planet, so I can really just hack into them and figure out what the fuck is their intent.
I like that one.
All right. Like,
that was a good thing.
He's just going to wind up calling me when he doesn't know how to deal with that information.
Oh, I mean, if I got that, I literally have access to infinite money at that point. Because where's the alien tech?
Be like, what do I? Yeah,
we're gonna be rich in like a week.
Yeah, for real.
We have the entirety of the history of the stock market from here until the end of time.
Yeah, every IT guy in his purview would be not wanting for anything.
Like, what's a quantum computer? Let's build one in our backyard. Steel tech, basically.
All right, Bandit.
That's fair.
I would probably go with something like the rare literature side.
Great one.
Rare books.
Rare books.
Is that would be absolute. I'm not talking like stuff you could buy at the store. I want a
private collection stuff hidden away in the dark corridors.
Ancient hidden away stuff. The stuff that hasn't been tainted by the winners and losers over time, like the real.
And finally answer the question, what the hell, why the hell did Tartaria as a thing even became a thing? Was that somebody just trolling the internet, or is there something more to it?
I want the complete Bible, the removed books and everything. I want a first print William Shakespeare.
But yeah,
I want a first print William Shakespeare. I want the rare
you want
stuff.
Shakespeare's autograph. Like, I want it signed.
Old book, 15th century.
Uncle Ted's autograph is who we're after right now, not Shakespeare.
No, I don't. That's an autograph that could kill.
If autographs could kill.
Talk about a conversation starter if you had it up on your wall. Like,
right?
Yep.
I'm just saying.
Guy?
So
I'm here for it.
Of course,
Let's do
Tess, I want to give you the opportunity to make sure that we can plug everything where everybody can find you at, back onto all your channels and stuff like that. I always like to give everybody an opportunity to do such.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I can also, I don't know if you put links in your episode descriptions, but I can also just, okay, sweet. I'll just put my actual, oh shit, where did it go? Oh yeah, it's that link tree. There you go. You already got it. Sweet. So I guess if you're listening and for some reason don't see a link, you can go to TessTamona.com. I am at TessTamona on all platforms. My podcast is called The Great Silencing with TessTamona. And then my Substack is called Memento Mori Alchemy. And that's by me on Substack. And then I'm also on Telegram too. I have a channel on Telegram called The Great Silencing Uncensored. But if you do want everything centralized location, it looks like the link will be in the show notes of wherever you are listening.
Oh yeah, I make sure we get links out there for everybody, not only wherever you're listening and or watching, but also over there back at unconstitutionalawakening.com with this episode. And that's also the place where you get to go back and answer tonight's pirate question to get yourself some free Unconstitutional Awakening the podcast stickers. All the folks that are out there listening and watching, we've been continuing with the sticker giveaway as usual, and I try to make sure that we share links from things that are on with the show, as well as links to get back to all of our fantabulous guests that set aside some time in the evening to come over here and try and tolerate the nonsense that we call a show here. So so tonight's question, though, I've been digging really hard for some Pirates questions because I really want you guys to do like some some actual history looking into these things and not just a random Google search, because you got to dig for this stuff. I'm trying to be good with it. So tonight's pirate question is, why did Lioness of Brittany prey on only French ships, often killing almost everyone on board? Was it A, revenge for killing of her husband, B, the French poisoned her livestock, or C, she was just insane? Of course, you can answer that question with this episode at unconstitutionalawakening.com. And I guess we're going to weigh anchor and get on out of here, everyone. So good night.